Okay, and pretty much the last kind of equation I need to teach you to solve is these ones here. Solve the equation round to the nearest hundredth. Now, what we have 6 times the quantity, parentheses, of x minus 2 to the second power equals 42. Well, the x is to the second power, so there's going to be 2 answers. Now, the thing that most people want to do, and they see up parentheses, the most logical, is the rainbow. 6 times the x and 6 times negative 4. But the reason we're not able to do that is because this x minus 4 is to the second power, okay? And that blocks you from being able to do the rainbows, okay? We're not going to make it rain if the second power is there. Okay, well then what do I do? Well then what a lot of people say is, well, you drop the power and you write that out twice. No. Then I'd have to multiply everything out. I'd have to FOIL. I'd have to multiply everything by 6. I'd have to do my GCF, my T-chart. That would be miserable. So thankfully, there's a much quicker way to get this. And here's what we're going to do. We are going to actually replace this entire parentheses with a new variable, and the new variable I like to pick is capital Q, okay? Now the Q is going to have a multiplier of 6, and the Q will also be to the second power, and then it's equal to 42. Okay, now whenever I bring this Q in, I'm going to make a table, and you'll see what that's for once I figure out. So I'm going to box up my Q. Okay, and I don't need to add or subtract anything on this particular problem. I do have a 6 that needs to be divided. And then I would have Q to the second power equals 7. Okay, and then to eliminate the second power, all we need to do is find the square root of 7, because that cancels, and I have Q. And then I will be finding the square root of 7 on my calculator. Now, remember, the square root of 7, it's 2.65, the 6,4, and then there's a 5 after it, but it's positive or negative. So now I go to this table and I make 2 equal signs, kind of like we did with the absolute values in first semester. I don't know how many of you actually remember doing that, but what we do is we go positive 2.65 and negative 2.65, and then what I do is I say, okay, what did I replace Q with? That parentheses, well, what was in the parentheses? X minus 4. So Q's now out, and I put the X minus 4 back in. Okay, so I'm going to box up my 1X, and then it's just academic from there. Okay, so I have 1X equals 2.65 plus 4 is 6.65, and I don't really need to divide by 1, so 6.65, and then plus 4, and then negative 2.65 plus 4 is 1.35. Okay, so there's your 2 answers. Okay, next one, the second power is there, so I will have 2 answers here. And again, the parentheses, well, with that second power there, I'm going to want to replace that because the second power belongs to this whole entire parentheses. So I want to just have one thing belong to the second power, and that's where my Q, capital Q, comes in. Okay. And you can put a 1 in front of your Q. You don't really need to divide by 1, though. We just have the second power, so I just need to find the square root of each side. What number times itself is 5? Well, I don't really know, so I'm going to take the square root of 5, and that's 2.24, but it could be the positive or it could be negative. Negative 2.24, okay? And then I'm going to bring it x minus 3, okay, because that's what's in the parentheses. So I put the 1 in front of the x, box it, 1 in front of the x, box it, and all I really need to do is add 3. So 5.24 plus 3 is, 2.24 plus 3 is 5.24. And then plus 3 and plus 3. And negative 2.24 plus 3 is 0.76. Okay. Next up, second power's there, so that would result, I know that's going to result in 2 solutions, but with the second power there, I can't multiply the 4 through, okay? That's not going to work, okay? So I bring in Q. Q will have a multiplier of 4. It will be to the second power. It will be minus 2 and then 38. Okay, so I box up my 4Q to the second power. I will need to add 2. Okay, so 4Q to the second power equals 40. And now I divide by the 4. So Q to the second power is equal to 10, and then what number times itself is 10? Well, I'm going to find the square root of 10. It's not 5 either. That would be the square root of 25. So I square root 10 and 3.16, so it could be positive or negative. Okay, 3.16 and negative 3.16, and then I bring in x plus 2. Okay, 1x and 3.16 minus 2 is 1.16. Use your calculator, okay? If you're not good with decimals in your head, you need to use the calculator. Okay, and negative 3.16 minus 2 is negative 5.16. We don't need to divide by 1, so there we go. So really, it doesn't take too long if you use this little trick. Okay, now this one, the second power is not there, so that's going to be x. So if the second power is not there, I'm not going to use q. I'm just going to use my rainbows, okay? So 4 times 1x and 4 times negative 3, it's 4x and negative 12, okay? So I've got 4x plus negative 12 equals 36, and then I can just box. It's negative 12, so I'd add 12 to both sides. So 4 times x equals 48, and then I divide by 4, and 48 divided by 4 is 12. Okay, there is a second power there. The copy machine kind of cut that off on me. So there would be 2 answers, and that means I will not be using the rainbows, okay? I will be using my q's. So 2q to the second equals 18. Okay. So I box that up. I'm not going to have to, I'm not going to really have to add or subtract. I need to divide the multiplier 2 out there. So I now have q to the second equals 9. And then I find the square root of both sides. Now what number times itself is 9? Okay, you should probably know that. It's 3. So I could equal 3 or negative 3. And then I come in with my x minus 4. Plus 4, plus 4, 3 plus 4 is 7. If there's a 1 in front of the x, that will be the answer. And negative 3 plus 4 is 1. Okay. Okay, there's no second power here, so again, there will only be one answer. So when there's one answer, I just go to my rainbows. So 5 times 1x and 5 times 2. Okay, 5 times negative 2, so 5x plus negative 10, and then minus 6 equals 32. Okay, so I box up my x. That's the only one I have. We got to move both these to the other side, so I'm going to add 10, and then I also got to add 6. Okay, so I have 5 times x, and 32 plus 10 is 42, and then plus 6 would be 48. Then I divide by 5. Divide 48 by 5, I get 9.6. Okay, my next problem, 2 answers. And second power's there, so we need to use the q. Okay, you don't need to add it, and you need to use your chart too. I want the chart set up when you get the q, so you know you have to do something over there. Without seeing that over there, you're going to forget. Then you'll just write 2 answers that are not correct. So I divide by 3. Q to the second power equals 6. Now, you don't really have anything else other than to find the square root of 6. Okay, what number times itself is 6? There isn't really one, so it's an irrational decimal. It means it goes on forever, but we round it off because we approximate it. Now, a lot of people without this table will write 2.45 and negative 2.45 no. So, okay, and then x minus 4. X minus 4. So 1, box it, 1, box it. Plus 4. Plus 4, 2.45 plus 4 is 6.45. And then plus 4, use your calculator on that one. Negative 2.45 plus 4 is 1.55. Some of you are going to need the calculator with that. Okay, and then the second power's there, so that's going to be 2 answers. So with the parentheses, I can't go through with that. Okay. So Q, 5Q to the second minus 3 equals 32. So after that equation's been written, so I box up my 5Q to the second, then plus 3. So 5Q to the second power equals 35, and then I divide by 5. So Q to the second equals 7. Okay, I find the square root of 7. 2.65 or negative 2.65. Okay, and then I bring in my x plus 6. Okay. So 2.65 minus 6 is negative 3.35. Negative 2.65 minus 6 is negative 8.65. Okay, that's all I have to say. I hope it's been informative. Now, one of the problems here, you will have only one answer. Okay, so yeah.